In this video, we're going to be finding out which is the vintage collection figure of the year for 2023, voted by you. Hello collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be finding out which figure is the vintage collection figure of the year for 2023 as voted by you guys, the fans. I did put out a poll on my channel on the community page and I shared it around social media, and we've had nearly 800 votes, which is awesome. So that's a good pool of data. And as like previous years, I'm going to be running down the top 5 from 5 to number 1, and those 5 are within these figures right here. And I've just put a selection of the figures from this year just in front of you because, you know, it has been a pretty good year in terms of the standard of the figures. You can see some really good ones here. Any of these here could be a contender for the top 5. Of course, not all of them have made it, but I did quickly want to talk about a couple of figures which didn't get any votes whatsoever, and it's not really surprising really when you look at the competition that they're up against. But Velsartha from Andor didn't get any votes whatsoever. I'm not really surprised about that one. And also Cassian Andor from the Aldani mission with the, you know, dodgy legs, that didn't get any votes either. Apart from that, I think every figure from this year got at least one vote. Now this year is a bit different to previous years. We do not have like a runaway winner, like a landslide or anything like that. In previous years, it's pretty obvious which figure was going to win figure of the year. In 2021, we had the Boba Fett Return of the Jedi. Last year in 2022, we had the Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan series, which was basically the best Darth Vader we've ever had in 3.75. So it's no surprise that that won either. So without further ado, if you do happen to enjoy the video, hit the like button down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. So before we get onto the top 5, I just want to give one honourable mention because he is very close in getting into the top 5 with 6% of your votes, and that was pre-Vizsla. This figure here is an exceptional figure. Maybe he didn't get all of the votes or more votes because he's a lot of reuse there, but the head sculpt underneath that helmet is awesome. Really good figure, this one. He is definitely in my personal top 5. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be doing my personal like top 5, top 10. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to do that. But pre-Vizsla, spoiler alert, would probably be in my top 5, most definitely. However, he's not in the top 5 of you guys voting. The first figure to be in the top 5 with 6.5% of the vote is Chrysanthemum. Now, this is the standard deluxe Chrysanthemum, not the version that we got at the San Diego Comic-Con. It is this one right here, and boy is he a big boy of a figure. He came with loads of accessories in that deluxe pack anyway. There wasn't really too much difference between that one and the SDCC version, apart from the SDCC version did have like a growling head sculpt. This one does not, but what an awesome looking Wookiee he is. Really screen accurate. And if you want to know more about these figures and my opinions on these figures, then I do have reviews of all of these figures on the channel, so if you want to check those out afterwards, you know, they're easily findable on my channel. And yeah, so that is Chrysanthemum. He is the first figure to be in the top 5 with 6.5% of the vote. In 4th place with 8.4% of the vote, so a pretty big jump up from Chrysanthemum, is the other big figure in the line from this year, and it is Paz Vizsla. As I said, he got 8.5% of the vote, and this for me is, you know, right up there as one of the figures of the year. What a fantastic sculpt, really screen accurate. You get all of the accessories that you're going to need from both the Mandalorian show and the Book of Boba Fett, because you do get his little shield as well. Stellar figure. I think the only one complaint that really a lot of people have had is that he's a little bit too clean. He could have done with a bit of weathering on him, but maybe they just couldn't afford to do that. I don't know, because obviously I would imagine that this figure would have costed a fair bit to make, and you know, he came with a bit of a hefty price tag anyway because he was a deluxe. And it'll be interesting to see how they make their money on this figure. Will we get another version of this figure? I don't know, like a convention exclusive with Favreau's head underneath or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they'll do that for TVC. They did it for the Black Series, didn't they? But he is in 4th place with 8.4% of the vote. Next up, in 3rd place with 9.8% of the vote, is General Hera Syndulla. Now, I know this figure is figure of the year for many people out there. I think my buddy Chris from Banter Skull had it on his list as being the best figure, and you can see why. It is seriously screen accurate. There is everything going for it. Really nice paintwork on the jacket and everything like that. And it's just a really, really sort of great likeness, and you've got all the articulation. Really, really good figure, but it doesn't make the top of the list for the community or the Bossk's Bounty community as a whole. As I said, we had nearly 800 people voting, and she was in third place with 9.8% of the vote. All right then, so in second place, this may or may not surprise you. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We have Darth Vader from the Death Star 2, who got 10.7% of the vote. And if I can just get him out here without knocking the other figures over. What a great figure this one was. And of course, it does use the majority of the figure from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. You do get some extra accessories, swappable hands, so you can have the cut off hand there, and of course the mask does come off so you can reveal the head sculpt underneath. And it is a really, really good figure, and as you know, if you were voting for this figure along with the card back as well, then that might win it for me, you know, as like a combination of the two. What a great card back that was, with the Sebastian Shaw scene. Absolutely fantastic. So that's Darth Vader, the Death Star 2 version, with 10.7% of the vote. So you can see already that basically, I think in the previous years, the Dark Times Vader got like over 30% of the vote, which is a fairly big majority when you're talking about, you know, I think we had nearly 1,000 votes last year. And previously, the Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi got about 28% of the vote, I think. So, you know, when you're putting all these figures against each other, we've had over 50 releases this year. You know, 29-30% is a big portion of the vote, but the winner only got 11.2% of the vote. So you can see that there are a vast amount of different figures, characters that got your vote this year, which split the vote considerably. So the figure that wins it with 11.2% is Darth Revan. Now, there's no doubt that this figure looks absolutely awesome. You get the two lightsabers, the cape, soft goods with all the holes in it and everything looks great. And of course the quality of the figure is very, very high, but I think this also has that sort of character bias as well. A lot of people love Darth Revan. They've been waiting for him to be in the vintage collection for ages. We had the whole debacle with them trying to release the 30th anniversary version in the vintage collection back in, what, 2018-19, and all the collectors said, no, you cannot release that figure. It is not good enough for the vintage collection. So it's taken them another, what, 3.5 years or whatever it is to actually come up with one that is good enough. And of course, they've already used it to give us the Jedi Revan as well, which is what they did in the Black Series. But this is your winner with only 11.2% of the vote. So the vote was split, as I said, but this is the vintage collection figure of the year, at least on the poll that I carried out. I'm sure there's going to be other polls out there that do a figure of the year, but in terms of my channel, Darth Revan takes the crown. I'm not too sure if that one would be my figure of the year. There's some other great candidates right in front of you that you can see there. We've had a really good year in terms of the characters and the figures. I mean, even like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, for example, the Grand Inquisitor. Maybe you don't like the series, but from a purely figure point of view, that figure is outstanding. So, you know, things like that. But this is what we've got. We've got Revan as number one. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about those results? Does it sort of marry what you thought it was going to be? We have Darth Revan in first place, Vader in second place, Hera Syndulla in third place, Paz Vizsla in fourth place, and Chrysanthemum in fifth place, with Pre-Vizsla just missing out. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you've enjoyed this end of year video. I'll be back in the new year with lots more content, and I'm sure there's going to be some reveals in January as well from Hasbro. There'll be a live stream or something and some new pre-orders to get 2024 kicked off. I want to wish you all a happy new year. I hope you all have a fantastic 2024. I hope it brings you everything that you want and that your family and friends remain healthy and safe. So thanks so much for the support that you've given my channel this year. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members. And we shall see you on the next one.